Hello, welcome to Cryptonomy. It's 3 a.m. right now from Thailand, but I couldn't help but make a video right now because everything we've been talking about so far is playing out before our eyes, right? We've been anticipating this for so long. Well, long enough for 2 weeks, but yeah, in the crypto world, that's not long enough actually. The plays usually in years of cycles, right? But the trade we're doing here is probably 2 month long, right? And the preparation that has gone into this was tremendously valuable, right? We're breaking below the 100-week SMA. Damn. And we said that the 19th of December would be an iconic day for everything to confirm, for everything to happen. So the 10th of December, when the Fed cut rates, that marked the peak of the short-term relief rally. And the point of rejection from the resistance line of that rising wedge. And the 19th, I mean, it's just so beautiful how Bitcoin and assets reminisce on these dates and events. And on the 19th, we finally got the confirmation of the breakdown. So let's just check the volume right here. And the volume is not looking bad. It's not looking bad. And the day has just started. So it's beautiful. I hope everybody that has been keeping on with this analysis so far, that you have gotten something out of what we did and you did what you wanted to do, right? Before we start, I'm Mo. I'm a computer and data scientist. I've been a crypto investor for the past 6 years, and I was able to turn a small portfolio into 6 figures this cycle. So if you would like to maybe learn some of the things that helped me along the way and some of the mistakes I've done, then try and watch this video. And if you enjoy it, please like and subscribe. Also, nothing that is said in this video is financial advice. It is only for educational purposes only. So before you make any investment decisions, please make sure to do your own research and look at multiple resources, right? So yeah, when we started talking about this zone right here, we identified that the bottom of the range could possibly be there, especially from the wick. So if you go look at some of the earlier videos, we've talked about that wick and how wicks like that form major reversal points, at least maybe short or to mid-terms, depending on the wick's time frame, right? So this is the daily. This is supposed to be like medium to long to short term, right? You can see wicks like that form major points, right? Reversals or points that you should probably consider. The most iconic one was, for example, here the cycle. That should have given away the first sign of that we might be heading for a reversal, and that was nice, right? So we've seen something like that here as well. After that, we have identified that the rising wedge, statistically, that pattern, when it happens on the first leg down, or like in the bear markets in general, they 60-70% of the time they do break down. And 5 touches is usually the maximum, right? The 3 touches is where usually it starts to have a high probability of breaking that pattern, either to the upside or the downside. And here we did on the third one, which actually showed weakness, right? Because we didn't hold up for more. So if we broke that pattern on the DOJ, right, instead of the Fed meeting, like on the 19th, that would have probably showed some strength. But since we're actually breaking it pretty soon, that may indicate or foreshadows that the next phase of the first leg down move of the Bitcoin bear market, right, the first row run, that might actually be more severe than what most people think, at least. I'm not sure, right? Nobody really knows what's going to happen, but we all just speculate and make probabilities based on certain analysis, right? So what we've spoken about is that we're right here in that phase, and if we go look at previous cycles, then that would correspond to this phase, because that's the phase where you get the December strength, right? And that's the December strength here, and here it happened actually on November, end of November, because we did end 18 days earlier than um, than the earliest cycle, right? So if you put all the cycles in a range, you would find like a range that's about here, and that one was the earliest ending cycle if we were to assume that's the peak of the cycle. So the maximum range of that phase, if you take all the analysis, right, we discussed that it's 32 days, and if the doji is here, I would, yeah, we still have some room to break the full, from the full phase, right, to enter finally the consolidation phase. But it's pretty interesting to see that the DOJ did mark that point, which we've iterated on many times, right? So the Bank of Japan is meeting on 19th of December, which is the final important day as the last major central bank decides on monetary policy, and they're going to raise interest rates. And the last time they did that was this drop right here. So it's a significant day. But I think it will be having less of an impact this cycle, at least this part of the cycle, because it's the second time, and I think operations would have adjusted on the Japan carry trade, so they would have reduced their exposure and risk, right? And in anticipation of this event. Nevertheless, I think some people will be caught. In every cycle, we do break the 100-week SMA in bear markets. For example, here, that's the previous cycle, right? Let's keep it like that for now. And that's this cycle, but that happened after the consolidation phase. Right now we're doing it in here. And we've spoken because, you know, as the cycle matures, we're moving on to longer term moving averages, right? That's pretty natural when assets mature, but yeah. So the confirmation of this breakdown hasn't been completely confirmed, I would say, before, of course, before I would personally pull the trigger. Three things I would want to really see. Two of three things have to play out for me to increase my confidence that this is the real breakdown. It's not some fake out. It's not maybe transitioning into a new pattern or something like that, right? Because what's weird about technical analysis nowadays is that they're not as reliable as they were 50 or 100 years ago, right? In the, you know, the 20s and till the 60s, patterns were more predictable, but right now they are more manipulative than anything. So we do have to be careful. Especially that's what all major investors say, which have gone through the transition of that period. So one of the first things we have to see to increase our confidence in such a breakout is retest of the previous support line, right? So that line, that red line right here, that's the support line of the rising wedge, right? So that line here is significant. If we retest it like that and close this candle somewhere here, that would tick that. If anything, that's already ticked, right? I would give that 0.8 out of 1. But if we close in such an area, that would definitely tick the first one. That would be amazing. The second thing that would have to play out is we need to see increased volume. So increased volume on the way down. Right now, the volume is not convincing enough. It's good, but it's not convincing enough. And of course, this day has just started. But nevertheless, I would like to see more volume, like at least double the size or 1.5 the size of previous highs, relatively to its neighbors. Right now, that didn't play out, so we have to wait for that. And a third one would be forming a continuation candle, whatever. So continuation candle is usually defined as a candle that is in size 1.5, at least 1.5x to its neighbors. So that would be something like that. That would be nice. 1.5 to 2x is amazing, right? So two of these have to be ticked for the breaking of the raising wedge really gains more confidence, right? Because for all we know, this could just DOJ sell off and come back in or something like that, right? And make new highs. And Bitcoin does that a lot. No problem. But if you see some momentum with breaking of a pattern, that would be more convincing that, yeah, there's a higher chance that we will reach our target, right? And the target that we're aiming for is, at least on this channel, somewhere around here, right? That would be amazing. And of course, that's all relative. It's all speculative, as it gets. Nobody really knows where anything is going. We just make our best guesses, right? But this is the goal, and getting anywhere near the goal would be just outstanding, right? If we get a bit further to the goal, that would, I will also welcome that with open arms, of course, no problem. But let's not be greedy. So yeah, don't want to keep this video longer than that, so just a little update. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. See you next time.